Today we're going back to the 1800s. Now, H. Holmes would go on to have several wives, but he never really divorced his first wife. So he would just always change his name. His second wife, Murda, she would end up having a kid by him. And he would start getting tired of her because he would say she was jealous. So he sent her away. And she would actually end up, when he was on trial, she was one of the witnesses. He would end up meeting a young woman named Minnie. And Minnie she was an orphan, but she was going to get basically a lot of money coming in, and he knew that. So he got her to sign everything over to him. And he got her sister to also sign everything over to him. Then they would disappear. He hired a woman to pretend to be Minnie. So people still thought she was alive. Well, he would go on to meet another young woman, and her name was Emily. And he had built a hotel. Well, he had people build this big hotel, and it was huge. And he would hire people to be like his secretary. And a lot of times that's how he would find these young women. So Emily become his secretary. And they would start dating. Well, Emily would also go missing after she signed over her life insurance to him. He had a business partner. His name was Ben, and he had 5 kids. They both come up with a plan that he was going to fake, that Ben was going to fake his death, and they were going to get money off of it, and H. Holmes was going to get some money too off of it. He would end up, though, he would take the life of Ben. And his oldest daughter would be the one that would identify his body. And he would take the 3 kids because he told the mother that obviously they thought the dad was still alive. So they thought the kids were just going to go stay with their dad, but that's not what happened. And so all 3 of the siblings, their lives would be taken too. He tried to take the mother's life, but it didn't work. So at this point, people are on to him because he's pretending to be other people, putting life insurance in people's names. And when he was in Texas, he stole a horse and would end up getting arrested. And when he got arrested, he told one of the inmates what he had done to Ben. And he asked the guy if he wanted to be his partner. Well, the guy would tell the police this. And they would bring the mother of the 3 kids in. And she didn't know what was going on, as far as that there was actual murder going on. So she told them what was going on, but remember, she only knew what she was told. So they arrest H. Holmes, and they go to all the properties that he has. And they do find the bodies of the 2 young girls, the siblings. Because there was 3 siblings that he took and 2 were girls. They never found the boy. So he was arrested, and he wanted to be his own lawyer. Well, he would be found guilty, and he would do interviews to the papers, and he would confess. But sometimes he would confess to things that he didn't do, because sometimes the people that he said were not around were still alive. So he did also false confessions. Well, he would end up being sentenced to death. So they would take him, and he would be hung. And his last words was he couldn't change who he was. Like a poet can't help but to sing. He said that he had always been that way.